Steve Gamache here with another episode of Chef Knives to Go Quick Look product reviews, and this time we're looking at the Harukaze White No. 2 Kurouchi Bunka 170mm knife. So this line of knives has a hard core steel composed of what's known as Shitogami or white paper No. 2 reactive high carbon steel from Hitachi. They heat treat that to around 60-61 Rockwell, so somewhat conservative, which should make for easy sharpening and a little bit more forgiveness. The construction is 3 layers. On each side of that hard core steel, they've got a soft iron reactive cladding. And then on top of that reactive cladding, they've also got a Kurouchi or blacksmith finish. And they also have a lacquer finish on top of that. So as the lacquer wears away, you'll start to get patina on not only the edge, but also the iron cladding as well. And as the Kurouchi might eventually wear away, you'll get some reactivity there as well. So this is, as I said, an all-reactive blade. There's no stainless or anything on it. These generally are, well, actually I've only seen one sample, this one, but it's a stout and stiff blade. Got a lot of backbone to it. Not supremely thin at the edge, but there's a lot of meat there. The weight on these and the dimensions are going to vary just a little bit from knife to knife. This one is right about 160 grams or 4.6 ounces. The edge length right about 170 on the nose from the tip to the chin, which is the back of the heel. About 6.7 inches. The overall length, about 313 millimeters. Blade height is about 44.1 millimeters at the back of the heel. And then the spine thickness, as I said, this is a thick stout knife, so above, or coming out of the handle, it's like 4.5-ish. And then about halfway down, I measured it about 2.5. And then it might shrink down slightly off of that, maybe 2 plus. And then you hit the corner at that reverse sword tip, and then it thins out a bit towards the grind at the tip. But you'll see the tip's not super duper skinny, and the grind is not either. It's got a little bit of a meat at the back end. And so the real grind kind of kicks in. You can see where the Kurouchi finish is worn off as they grind down towards the edge, and they've got a kind of a sandblasted Kasumi style finish on there. So, as I said, they're stiff, they're stout. They should have great food separation, pretty good food release because of that. The handles are oval rosewood with black packawood. This one has a little bit of a step between the ferrule and the rosewood, which is not too common for these actually, but this one happens to. There's a pretty tight install. They've done a nice job on the install around the tang. This particular one looks very nice. It's got a nice figure to the rosewood. And again, these are oval, so they're ambidextrous. The grind on this seems fairly, might be a little bit more of a harder angle on the right side. The left side's a little more shallow. But the edge bevel itself is, I'd say, about maybe 60-40, so 60% higher on this and a 40 ratio on the right side. They're not too bashful on their edge geometry on this either. It was pretty sharp out of the box, about a 6 out of 10. Handle circumference, about 73-74 millimeter right here, and it feels appropriate for the size of the knife. You've got a curve to the choil into a fairly thin neck, so you've got some room for your finger for a pinch grip. Depending on where they put the handle, that can vary. That distance can vary just a little bit. Balance point, while we're at it, is kind of right up there on a pinch, maybe just a touch in front of it, pretty close to a pinch grip. So right about there, which actually is kind of right on the money for my pinch grip. So let's take a close-up look at this blade. They've got a lot of hand-hammered character to them. You can definitely tell these have been worked on by somebody. So definitely a lot of character to them, a lot of the blacksmith personality in these. So on the right side of the blade, you've got some hand-chiseled kanji. You've got your blade flats, which have, of course, the lacquer finish for it's kind of shiny. But then you've got the hammering on there. You can really see it on the backside a lot. A lot of hammer marks, a lot of character. There's a stamped kanji on the left side of the blade. Here's your core steel showing out there, and then there's your shiny edge bevel, sharpened edge bevel. See if we can get a good shot for the video beauty shot here. And fit and finish, they've relieved the spine a little bit. They've relieved the choil a fair amount. So it's actually quite comfortable out of the box. As I said, it's got a stiff, stout feel to it, so you'll have a lot of integrity on the board. This is no wimpy feeling knife. It's not a laser. It's not the way they hammer this out, but it's a pretty good chunk of steel. The profile, let's take a look at it and see what she looks like on the cutting board. Here we go. So taking a peek there, you can see just a kind of a gentle belly. Very smooth profile, no hiccups, bumps, dips in it. So let's see, the tip is pretty low on this Bunka, so I'm starting to dig in there. You know, in here, I'm pretty good without digging in. It kind of depends on how they decide to finish off the tip. This tip is fairly upswept, right, especially at the very end, so depends how the sharpener does it, but I can get pretty high on that. And this thing rocks pretty darn smooth, so it'd be a nice rocker for low to low medium stuff. It's not going to be a straight chopper. Push-pull cuts would be great. You can see it doesn't really slide into a flat area at the back. It just kind of glides and rotates all the way to the heel. So that's what the profile looks like. So this has definitely got a lot of hand-hammered character. If you're looking for a old school type of all reactive blade with easy to sharpen Shidogami number 2, this is a pretty cool knife. So this is the Harukaze Shidogami or white number 2 Kurouchi Bunka 170mm knife.